Missionary activity in the Catholic Church is meant to send missionaries who teach the gospel, present it to people, baptize them, and help create a church and then leave. We're a very remote reservation. We're in the middle of the state, down on the Nebraska border. 2.5 hours from Rapid City, 3 hours and 15 minutes from Sioux Falls, the two largest cities in the state. My objective at St. Francis, and the objective of everyone who works there, is to create this self-sustaining church. So there will be no need for a mission, 20, 25 years from now. All of us are Jesuit priests. It's a Jesuit mission. The main goal of the mission is to create Native leadership. So all of the programs that St. Francis Mission provides are run right now by Lakota people, Lakota being Sioux people, and even the chief operating officer of the mission is a local Native person. The second person of the Trinity created this culture. And so if you just sort of wipe it off the map, there's something about the Christ you will never know. They've held on some of the people to their culture. So there are, for instance, powwows in each community all summer where there's dancing and even competitions in dancing. Many of the people have a deep spirituality. It's absolutely essential that these Native people come to the point where they can give to the rest of the church the gift that God gave to them. In one sense, when I went to St. Francis Mission, this mission was failing. And Bishop Supich, who was the bishop at the time of Rapid City, asked me to go there to see if it could be restarted. Of the 26,000 people on the reservation, 40% are Catholic, but they don't practice. There's high alcohol rates, high drug rates, high poverty, high unemployment rates. So just beginning a school wasn't going to make a difference. We had to address all of these things. People are very caring for one another, even though there's a lot of dysfunction that's caused by the result of alcohol and drugs and so forth. They tend to help one another. They tend to try to help people heal, and that's an important piece. The question for St. Francis Mission is, how do we provide people with an education, with the emotional and physical support to be able to become priests or sisters, or become doctors, or become MBAs, so that this reservation can work its way out of the dysfunction it faces. And the only people who can do that are Native people, not outsiders. Up to now, everything has always just been given away. Well, this doesn't create people who, first of all, feel any self-respect. I mean, it's a teaching model that has to do not just with kids, but with adults and the whole group of the reservation, changing the way they see themselves. So I introduced a new model of doing missionary work. And we started with the corporal works of mercy. So we started with 2 centers for alcohol recovery, where we deal with family recovery, which sometimes includes the alcohol or drug abuser, but mostly the families. We have a free dental clinic we started because it's a third world situation in oral health on the reservation. And we started a suicide and crisis hotline to address the large number of teen suicides. Part of what we're trying to do throughout the mission and also in our small school is teach the language, teach the culture. We have a 30-day program in the summertime for all the kids in our school, where they learn the dances, they learn how to make the regalia, learn the history and the stories and the medicine plants and so forth, to try to give them a sense of pride in who they are, but also pride in being Catholic. And that's, it's a very long road, it's a very high mountain, but it is energizing to be engaged in that kind of thing. When I went there, there were only 16 kids going to religious education, release time. We now see 250 kids a week in 4 public schools. We brought young families together. Finally, we began this nativity model school. The nativity model demands high parental involvement. It's very important to have good, solid education, where we have people, young people, who learn about the church, fall in love with Jesus, but also learn about their culture and fall in love with that and put that together as they grow up and don't see it as something that clashes. Native people have a real love for the land. I mean, people say, well, why do they stay there? Well, it's home, and home for them is a big piece. And this, by the way, is only little pieces of land that they have left. And so I think that people who know the language and the culture, feel comfortable there, will come back to make a difference. I'm convinced of that. The website is sfmission.org, and we try to keep it up to date. You'll see my smiling face from time to time giving a talk about how we're doing and where we're going. But you'll see the children. There's a lot of we try to keep current videos and pictures of what's going on in the school, what's going on in the other programs. We are the hope for the future of these folks, and we're trying to help them with sobriety, help them with a centeredness on God, and help them with education. sfmission.org, and or you can always just write me at St. Francis Mission.